Hi, I'm Mario Ariave with Utmost Performance Coaching. Thank you for accepting my invitation to this formal event. It's a black tie affair. Hopefully you're dressed appropriately. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to use the example of a bow tie to be able to explain to you guys kind of how the process works in terms of training prescription and then analyzing that training prescription to see how things are going, what can be improved or what's working or what have you. So if you step aside with me over here, I've got a nice illustration here of a bow tie, which is what I'm going to use to illustrate this principle. And so when we start at the bow tie, it's got three distinct parts to it. It's got this part over here, that'll be part number one. Part number two is that knot in the middle, kind of a funnel down kind of effect. And then over here, we kind of come back out, and this part and this part are essentially the same to the eye, but they're very different in terms of how I apply them as a coach. So we'll go ahead and start over here. This is where I come in as the coach, and I am looking at what the athlete is wanting to do, what goals they have. And so I begin to formulate some kind of periodization, a training plan, a prescription that that athlete can follow. And so I'm looking at, what we've got available, what that athlete has available, and then I prescribe the training. And that's this part right here. So the athlete, they go on to Training Peaks in my case. They're able to see what it is they do on a daily basis, and they begin to execute that training prescription that I have given them. The next part of the bow tie is this funneling down kind of knot piece. Now, this is where, as that athlete goes performing the prescription that is being given to them, things begin to happen physiologically. There's some changes that are happening. Maybe there's some mitochondrial density changes that are happening, or some neuromuscular changes, an increase in VO2 max or a threshold increase or what have you. But all of that stuff is happening here. And to be honest with you, this happens kind of devoid, and we can't really see it with the naked eye. We're looking at and allowing time to pass, the athlete's being consistent, and something is happening here. Okay. Now, where we get to see that is the last part of the bow tie, and this is kind of where I come back in. So I've given the training prescription, and then the athlete performs that training prescription, and some changes are being made here physiologically. And then I can sit down and I can analyze that data that's coming out. I can look at some performance metrics, and I can look at it and say, all right, based on what I've given, what the athlete has done, and what's come out on the other side here, then we can begin to say, okay, some of these things are working. Let's continue on that path. Hey, this might not be working. Maybe there are some small changes that can be made, what have you. But this is where we finally kind of get the answer of, hey, you know what? When we combine me with the science part, the athlete with the art part, when both of us partner together here, what are we getting on this other side? And is it a recipe that we can continue with, or is it something that we need to kind of shift on? And so that's the example of the bow tie. That's how this works. It is a repeat process that I do over and over again. Once we go here, I come back over here, prescribe, athlete performs, we analyze. And we just kind of do that over and over and over again. And then over time, as the athlete and I partner together, we begin to find something that works. And then that bow tie is nice and tight, and it works. And we have something that we can kind of repeat unless something changes in that athlete's, circumstances or time available or what have you. And then we make those necessary changes. And so there you have it. So you're at the party. You're dressed appropriately. You understand the bow tie now. And so thank you for watching this video and for allowing me to hopefully teach you something about training physiology, about how it works, where a coach would come in, and what the roles of the coach are to help the athlete to be better and to perform at a higher level. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, if you are enjoying this content, don't worry, there's going to be more of it to come, but it may not be as formal. We may be able to kick back and have a little bit more lounge discussions and a little bit more kind of ease to it. But if you don't want to miss anything, then go ahead and subscribe to the channel, because I promise you there's more where this came from. All right, y'all, till next time.